AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's rock!
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. I'm Matt.
You're a loser, Matt!
Shut up, kid. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right, we're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Oh, by the way, it's hump day. Yep. Gotta take it easy.
It's hump day.
Got 3 more shows.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Today.
Hump day.
Tomorrow.
It's hump day.
Friday.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Then I got 2 weeks.
Hump day.
Let the voice heal.
It's hump day.
As it is for now.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
I got Halls like they're Skittles.
Hump day.
I got a bag of them. Use.
It's hump day.
What flavor? What flavor are we working with here, Scone?
Mike. What day is it,
The
Mike?
one that's like menthol.
Okay.
It's not candy, Muse. Just a means to an end.
Oh, I get that, but there are better tasting. Like the strawberry one's pretty good.
I don't think
It's
you do.
hump day.
Just a means to an end.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Frank Wilson's going to Ole Miss.
Hump day.
Colin Hurley's going to the transfer portal.
It's hump day.
So is Carius Kern.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Talk about all that.
Hump day.
Saints got a buttload of injuries.
It's hump day.
Talk about that.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We'll go to New York to talk about the Jets.
Hump day.
Out of obligation.
It's hump day.
Billy Lucci next hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Russ Mitchell, hour 3.
Hump day.
Ton to do.
It's hump day.
Ton to do. So, let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Well, the news came on Tuesday night. Suffice to say that here on AFR, sort of already knew what was coming down the pike. This was yesterday afternoon. If I had to guess today, and again, like we talk about with coaching carousel and stuff all the time, if I had to guess today, I would tell you that I think Frank Wilson ends up at Ole Miss. I think basically Kevin Smith and Frank Wilson switch spots. I think Smith will be here and Frank Wilson will be at Ole Miss. So I was told Tuesday morning from a very reliable Ole Miss source that Frank Wilson and Ole Miss had agreed. Another LSU source confirmed that. And then also Tuesday was told that Frank Wilson did tell the LSU team after practice on Tuesday that he would not be back. He did not tell the players that he was going to Ole Miss. He just told them that he would not be back after the bowl game. Did not want them to hear it through the media. So this is, if you've been following the show, this has felt like a foregone conclusion for some time, and we've kind of laid the groundwork and explained why. You have 10 on-field assistants, 10 full-time on-field assistants. Over and again, people have said, make him a special teams coach, make him a running game coach. It doesn't matter what you call the title. You don't have a spot is the point. You brought Charlie Weiss Jr., you brought Joe Cox, you brought George McDonald, you hired Eric Wolford as your offensive line coach. It means you only got one more spot on your offensive staff for a full-time on-field staffer. And that's going to be Kevin Smith coming over when Ole Miss is out of the playoff. So you don't have a spot. You haven't had a spot. That's the point. The only way there would have been a spot is if Kevin Smith wasn't coming. And barring something dramatically unforeseen, Kevin Smith is coming. Now, I suppose there could always be the situation where another program offers Kevin Smith more money, better title, something like that. But you have to stand to reason that LSU is going to match whatever he needs to make that work. I mean, they just looked in the couch cushions and found an extra $500,000 for Blake Baker and another $500,000 a year for Charlie Weiss Jr. Lane Kiffin is getting whatever he needs right now to make this thing go. You invested $91 million in your head coach. You're going to give him what he needs. So, this is, I think this situation here, watching Frank go out the door, is an illustration that there are different ways to build a roster, and that this is causing all of us, you and me and everybody, to reframe how we think about building a roster. Now, before I go any further, I want to give you my feeling, like how I feel about this. I hate this. Personally, I hate this. I've known Frank since LSU hired him the first time in 2010. I remember interviewing him on this show 16 years ago, and him telling a story about how when Les Miles called him and hired him, he and his wife cried, and he said, we're going home, and how much it meant to be able to represent Louisiana and wear those 3 letters across his chest. And it tugs at the heartstrings, but on top of that, he is an elite level recruiter in the most fertile recruiting ground in this state and among the most fertile recruiting grounds in the country, that's in New Orleans. And that reveals itself time and again. You just signed Harlan Berry, 5-star number 1 running back in the country out of New Orleans in the most recent class, or last year. Look at here in this December signing period, Lamar Brown, Richard Anderson, both delaying their signing, attributing that to the uncertainty around Coach Frank, in part. So, we've mentioned, Brian Kelly making mistakes early in his tenure with Brian Polian as his recruiting coordinator, not putting the emphasis on Louisiana, something he fixed. But it is worth noting Brian Kelly hired Frank Wilson in 22 when he first came in here. The most gigantic mistake he made was showing Corey Raymond the door and making Brian Polian his recruiting coordinator. But the world has changed dramatically. And I would also say that it is every coach's right to build a staff how they want. You're paying Lane Kiffin $91 million. You're going to let him do it his way. And every coach has the right to build their own staff. They should not have anyone forced upon them ever. And so if Lane Kiffin wanted to retain certain coaches like he did with Blake Baker, awesome. If he wants to move on from Frank Wilson, that is his right, his prerogative. It's his program to build how he wants. And by the way, your offense was so bad this year that nobody on that offensive staff should feel safe. But the point I made at the beginning is that we all need to reframe how we think about building a roster. And this is what I mean. Frank Wilson was hired at the end of 21, beginning of 22. And Brian Kelly wanted to build the roster through high school recruiting, recruit, develop, and supplement through the portal. That was Brian Kelly's stated approach over and over again. There was nobody more capable of helping do that in Louisiana than Frank Wilson. But from that point, early NIL to what became egregious pay for play through collectives, and now the revenue share through third-party NIL era, the way you used to build rosters just doesn't matter as much anymore. Like, let me ask you this question. This is not rhetorical. I want you to say this answer out loud wherever you are. If you're on the treadmill with earbuds in, if you're at your home, if you're driving in traffic, wherever you are. If I gave you, knowing what you know now in 2025, if I say we can go back to the start of 2025, and you could either have Bryce Underwood as a true freshman or Fernando Mendoza, who would you pick? Say the answer out loud. If you didn't say Fernando Mendoza, you're a liar. The point being, we're about to watch LSU go through this in a year with Elijah Haven. There's a lot of people here melting the fact that LSU's got Peyton Houston committed. Elijah Haven's right down the road, number one quarterback in the country. Okay. You just watched Michigan go 9-3, have an atrocious offense with a freak show freshman quarterback who threw 9 touchdowns. They were awful on offense this year. And Bryce Underwood in time will likely be a very good player. But he was not a very good player as a freshman. You know who was? The guy who spent 2 years starting at Cal, went to Indiana, and won the Heisman. That's how Lane Kiffin is approaching roster building. We also talk about Frank's ability to get Louisiana kids. It's true. I mentioned Harlan Berry. Mentioned Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson, guys who delayed their signings because of the uncertainty around Frank Wilson. You know who both signed with LSU? Lamar Brown and Richard Anderson. Lane Kiffin has recruited the SEC for the last 6 years at Ole Miss, and then prior during his time at Alabama and for a year at Tennessee. He's got relationships here, certainly, not if not him personally, certainly with his staff. And we are seeing a shift. Giving you this example before, but I'll say it again. In my opinion, there's no clear example of how much of a change has happened in recruiting than what happened with Jakeem Stewart a year ago. Jakeem Stewart was the number one defensive lineman, the number one player in the country for 2025. He reclassified. I say he should have been in 2026. He was going to be the number one player in the country for the 2026. He reclassed to the class of 25. So he graduates a year and a half early. But St. Aug wasn't going to let him graduate early, so he transferred to Edna Carr. Who was the person that organized all of that? Transfer, got him into Carr, got all the academics worked out so he could graduate early, all of it. The guy who laid all the groundwork for that was Frank Wilson. And despite the fact that Frank Wilson did all that legwork to get Jakeem Stewart reclassified and enrolled early in school, Jakeem Stewart went to USC because their offer was $2 million and LSU shut theirs down at 1.2. So we're not going any higher. By the way, I'm not sure if you noticed, but Jakeem Stewart was this year as a true freshman at USC and actually finished the year hurt. In a different era, 100 times out of 100 in that situation, Jakeem Stewart's coming to LSU. In this era, USC was the highest bidder. The other part, as far as reframing how we think about building a roster, is if you try to build your roster through high school signees, you're going to constantly find yourself swimming upstream because high school signees don't stay. Just today, Carius Kern, 5-star, number one interior offensive lineman, played in 7 games, started 5. On an awful offensive line this year, he was a bright spot. Kern entered the portal after 1 year. Go back to last year's class, the class of 24 that were freshmen a year ago. You signed 29 players. Of the 29 players you signed, 10 are already gone. A third of that class is already gone, and there will be more between now and January 2nd. Lane Kiffin is looking at this saying, I built a playoff roster in Oxford, Mississippi with Ole Miss's resource. Give me LSU's resources and watch what I can do. I can build a national champion, not just a team that's going to make the 12-team playoff, but a team that can win championships and do it through the portal based off of their evaluation. Kiffin, Glasscock, their director of player personnel, Thad Rivers, that whole group, they're going to go through their evaluation, identify the players that fit the scheme they want best, and use LSU's resources to get those players here. Again, we're just reframing how he's building a roster. It's just not what it was. And it's hard to argue with the result. Last 2 years, Ole Miss has been better than LSU. I know LSU pulled the upset in Tiger Stadium in 2024, but Ole Miss, their roster, is better than LSU's the last 2 years. Hard to argue against their process. Doesn't mean I have to like it. Doesn't mean, You certainly have an advantage in inroads in New Orleans and Louisiana with Frank Wilson. And I know there's a lot of people sitting here thinking, well, now you've got Austin Thomas, Frank Wilson, Pete Golding. All they're going to be coming in and recruiting Louisiana. Cool. And if they would have come into Louisiana to recruit Jakeem Stewart a year ago, if they didn't have a checkbook matching or beating USC's offer, he's still going to USC. That's great. All those guys have ties to Louisiana. You have a big enough checkbook? About to find out. So, I hate it. I wish Coach Frank could stay. I wish he could stay forever. But it's Lane Kiffin staff. You got to trust him to build it how he wants. Proof is in the pudding that he has so far. And we all have to reframe our brain to how rosters are built in 2025 and 2026 and beyond if you're trying to build a championship roster. Because it's just not the way it used to be done. And you have the guy that's your head coach right now that's done it as well as anybody in this era. New day. All right, it's after further review. Show Open Every Day is brought to you by Bud Light. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, and, of course, of the New Orleans Saints as we're making our way here through the holidays. If you got Christmas parties or company parties or family get-togethers, make sure you have plenty of delicious ice-cold Bud Light, the official beer of AFR, the official beer of the LSU Tigers, the official beer of the New Orleans Saints. Get the officially licensed LSU and Saints cans, the 16-ounce aluminum bottles, at great local retailers, of course, supporting our great friends over at Mockler Beverage. They've been great supporters of our communities for more than 4 decades. Drink easy with the great taste of Bud Light. All right, y'all, it's AFR. Let me knock out our first break of the show. Speaking of, Taylor will be here for Bourbon Dictionary in about 30 minutes. So get your booze questions in. When we come back, a lengthy Saints availability report today. We'll get to that next on AFR.
AFR.
Can't even begin to tell you how life-changing BPC 157 has been for me. It's peptide. Talked about it. It's available at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Hey, man, I thought they did ED. They do. They do ED. They do hormone replacement therapy, but they also have dozens of peptides available. And these are non-pharmaceutical options and therapies to help you with many different things that could be ailing you. Muscle growth, brain fog, lack of energy, gut health, or in my issue, like pain, muscle recovery, things like that. Like I had a friend who just recently had knee surgery. I said, you should be on BPC 157 taking daily doses near the site of your surgery to expedite your recovery. It's worth learning more. Go to yourgoodwood.com. Schedule a consultation. Just have a conversation with Gabe. Have a conversation over the phone. yourgoodwood.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
So a couple of Tigers did jump into the transfer portal, or announce their intention to jump into the transfer portal. 2 more with Colin Hurley and Karis Kern. I do want to give you my full thoughts on that, and I'll break it up. I'll get to that just in a little bit. We'll talk about Colin Hurley at the top of hour 2, then Kern at the top of hour 3, and then Russ Mitchell will also be here in hour number 3. The Hurley news I don't think is surprising, considering the very tumultuous time that he's had in Baton Rouge. A new beginning for him probably makes a lot of sense. But I do want to talk about the future of the quarterback room at LSU. And then Kern in hour 3 we'll get to. That one is, I think, a bit more surprising considering it's a freshman with a tremendous amount of upside. I have seen a lot on social media today from people after we posted that news over at LouisianaSports.net. A lot of the, well, here we go. This, as I understand today, this has not that Kern has nothing to do with Frank Wilson being gone. Like nothing to do with Frank Wilson. I think this is an instance of a guy that's making himself an available free agent, and quite honestly, probably has some growing up to do, and that maybe cost him a little bit more playing time even. The physical ability, the upside is undeniable, but you can determine if I'm credible or not. Kern leaving is zero to do with Frank Wilson taking the Ole Miss job. Now, I'll be interested to see if Austin Thomas doesn't try to lure Kern to Ole Miss, I certainly think SEC destinations are in play for Kern, a kid from Arkansas who took a lot of SEC visits when he was coming out of high school. That'll be interesting to see. We'll talk plenty about that coming up in just a little bit. All right, it's After Further Review. Thanks for hanging out with us here. The New Orleans Saints have begun their preparation here for the New York Jets. One of the cool things after the Saints won on Sunday, if you watch the post-game locker room video where Kellen Moore was giving out the game balls, one of the things that was like a true victory Monday. Said we'll see you Wednesday. So he gave everybody. Usually you come in Monday, you watch film, you get treatment, all that sort of stuff. And then Tuesday's the off day in the NFL, but he gave them off Monday and Tuesday. So the Saints didn't get back in the building until today to start getting ready for their game against the Jets. And Ross Jackson was out at Saints practice for the media viewing portion. And we have this up at LouisianaSports.net if you want to check it out. But it's pretty lengthy absentee list here to start the week. So Devon Vele with the shoulder injury, Devin Neal with the hamstring, Alvin Kamara, who, of course, has been out with that knee and ankle injury. Cesar Ruiz was out. Asim Richards was out. And then defensive tackle Nathan Shepard also not seen at practice. So we're going to wait and see when we get the official injury report a bit later, exactly what that looks like. You know, what these designations are. Were they DNPs? Were they limited? Again, the media viewing portion is a small portion of practice. So there's the possibility some of these guys might have been out there later, but these guys were absent during the media viewing portion. Now, obviously, going into this game, what should stand out is that every one of the guys I just mentioned, except for Nathan Shepard, is an offensive player. Vele has been, over the last month, your best receiver. With Kamara out, Neal has taken over that RB1 spot, and now both Kamara and Neal are out, which leaves you severely depleted at running back. Cesar Ruiz, awful as he is, has been your starting right guard, and Asim Richards was the one who had replaced Taliesin Fuaga at right tackle when Fuaga was out. The good news, Fuaga was back this week. So a handful of injuries offensively there for the New Orleans Saints. We'll see how this progresses as the week goes along. You know, one of the things that's interesting, though, is that with Kamara and Neal both out, it's an opportunity to see more of Audric Estime and Evan Hull, who also had a nice run late in the game on Sunday. It was called back due to penalty. But, you know, Estime is a guy, you know, a couple of years into his career out of Notre Dame, and he hasn't had a lot of opportunities. He's had, in the last 2 weeks, exactly 3 carries for 11 yards in each of those games. But he had a 9-yarder against Tampa. He had a big third down conversion as well in the game this past weekend in short yardage. So, you know, a powerful guy that kind of falls forward. I'm not saying that I believe at all he'll ever be a bell cow back, but maybe a guy that actually has a role in the offense moving forward. So just something to watch here in the final month of the season, the final 3 weeks here of the season, especially as Kamara is battling some injuries, see how he may come back up from this. So New Orleans Saints getting set to take on the Jets this weekend in the Dome. It'll be the final home game for New Orleans. They'll finish with back-to-back road games against Tampa and Atlanta to wrap up the season. Aaron Glenn, we're waiting on Kellen Moore, by the way. Is he finished? Okay, so we're waiting on Kellen Moore to meet with the media, of course, because Ellen likes to sleep in and just have late practices.
Ellen Moore.
So his prerogative. The Jets have already had their practice. Aaron Glenn's had his press conference, and Muse has already chopped it all up already. So the most notable part of this game from the Jets side is that as they continue to have turnover at quarterback, Aaron Glenn announced that they're sticking with their plan from this past week at quarterback.
When it comes to our quarterback situation, Brady will be starting. All right, this game, I feel like I want to continue to evaluate him and see exactly how he's going to operate on a consistent basis. And throughout the week, Tyrod and Justin, all right, we'll see how they progress during the week to see who actually be the 2 or the 3, all right, because those guys are coming back from injury. I want to make sure that we get the person that's going to be the most healthiest to be able to operate as the 2.
So, of course, that's Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor are the other 2 quarterbacks. But Brady Cook is the guy that we all know out of Missouri. He's played in a couple of games this year for the Jets. The this past week for the Jets in their blowout loss against Jacksonville, he was 22 of 33 for $176, so he completed 66% of his passes, a touchdown, 3 interceptions. So if that New Orleans Saints defense can be opportunistic, I think you'll have a shot, obviously, to maybe create some takeaways there. So that's 2 big components of this game for the Jets against the Saints. Is you're going to see Brady Cook at quarterback, and then you have a new defensive coordinator in Chris Harris. So next hour, we are going to go up to New York to get a thumbnail preview of the Jets. Dan Grocka, who is on the Jets radio and the host of the Dan Grocka Show, he'll be with us next hour from New York. So we'll get a closer look. He's from ESPN New York. We'll get a closer look at the Jets from an insider there, how they look coming into this game. Listen, the Jets are sitting there at 3-11, and a team that certainly looks like they are tanking. Not in a little sense that they're trying to lose, but certainly they're playing for the future. They're trying to get an evaluation of Brady Cook. They fired their defensive coordinator. This is not a thing where they're out there trying to win, which looks like an inverse of what the Saints are doing, where they are trying to gain some confidence behind their young quarterback, who's now managed to win 3 of his 6 starts. So Saints are a 4.5-point favorite on Sunday in the Dome against the Jets, and we'll get a closer preview of the Jets with Dan Grocka coming up here in about 45 minutes from right now. Hey, we're brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawBillsTire.com. Locations all over South Louisiana. Name brand tires at wholesale prices. And, of course, they treat you like family, so they'll keep you coming back year after year after year. I love telling you about Shawbills because my experience at Shawbills, long before I even started endorsing Shawbills, has always been amazing. You know, when Eric and I got married, our first home was right off of Burbank on Bluebonnet Extension. And there's a Shawbills right there on Burbank near Bluebonnet. So we would go there all the time for our maintenance and fell in love with the place. I mean, the way that they treat you is awesome. If you need to stay while service is done, you can actually be productive. They have like a really clean kitchenette, complimentary coffee with Keurig. It's clean bathrooms. They have flat screen TVs and comfortable furniture and high-speed internet so you can get work done. Like I'll go just hang out at Shawbills and get work done while they work on my vehicle. So any of their locations, you can buy name brand tires at wholesale prices, or if you need any work done on your vehicle, they can help you out. So schedule service or shop tires online at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. Shawbills, we keep you rolling. Okay, all it is after further review. Taylor Calandro in about 15 minutes, or Bourbon Dictionary. Got booze questions, need a holiday cocktail recipe or something like that, wine recommendation for Christmas dinner. Get it in. This will be our last chat with Taylor before the new year. We'll go around the SEC when we come back. Stick around here. It's AFR.
AFR.
If maybe you got a little bit of downtime toward the holidays here, maybe you're already off of work. Maybe you got a day off today. And this would be a good time of the year as you start to prepare your New Year's resolution. And maybe that and something you know is coming up here in the new year is that you're going to be moving. Maybe you're going to be selling your home. Well, first of all, you need to work with a realtor. So it's important to make that decision first and foremost. 73%, 3 out of 4 people who list their home for sale by owner end up hiring a realtor. So save yourself time and money. That's number one, make that decision. And number 2, it's making the decision of what realtor to work with. And I've told you for more than a decade now about Darren James, and it's not just me. The numbers are the numbers. Wall Street Journal Real Trends listed the top 1% of realtors in America. Darren James, number 14 in the country on the transaction side. Number 14 in America, the number of homes sold. So if you need to sell your home, you need the best. Check them out, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
Got more bowl action here tonight. Old Dominion in South Florida, they start at 5 o'clock, so you're in about an hour and a half. That's in the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Staff DNA. The hell is that? Staff DNA? I don't know.
Some type of medical company, if I had to guess, yeah.
Maybe that's the objective of sponsoring a bowl game. You have people like me say, what the hell is that? And we look it up, and you find out what Staff DNA is. There's the 68 Ventures Bowl. What's 68 Ventures?
Yeah, I have no idea. Let's see.
That's the Cajuns against Delaware. The Cajuns and the Blue Hens in Mobile at Hancock Whitney Stadium. Beautiful new park, new stadium there. Beautiful new stadium there in Mobile. Yes.
It's an investment company in Alabama.
Okay.
68 Ventures.
What about Staff DNA?
Let's see. I was trying to do that, and then you asked about 68 Ventures, so I stopped. Staff DNA is a software company in Plano, Texas.
So you were dead wrong.
Very misleading name of your business there. Especially sponsoring a medical bowl, the Cure Bowl.
Cure
like
Bowl.
You'd think, right?
I don't think the Cure Bowl is a medical bowl. I don't think that's what that is.
I thought it was. I thought it was for a cure for cancer because it's all pink.
Yeah, like this doesn't mean it's medical. Staff DNA, I would have thought it would have been like a DNA company, like for was it 23andMe? Like that sort of thing.
Like
where you're looking for DNA, like
your heritage, your family tree, your
DNA.
Your DNA, yeah, but your ancestors. That's kind of the word I was looking for there.
Well, no, that would be like Ancestry.com. That's not 23andMe.
Oh, it's not? I thought they were kind of the same thing.
I think 23andMe is like it's mapping your DNA because we've mapped the human genome. Yeah.
We're learning a lot from these bowl games,
How
dude.
about that?
Yeah, I mean,
tomorrow there's the Xbox Bowl. I know what that is.
I've heard of that too.
Unless if that's changed. I haven't played video games probably since like 93, but I would assume that an Xbox is still an Xbox.
Still an Xbox, yes. Very much.
Do they make new Xboxes?
I think the last one they made was the Xbox One. Yeah, I know. Weird, right?
What?
Yeah. Well, I mean, remember they went from the Xbox to the Xbox 360, and then the Xbox, there was another one in there, then the Xbox One. I think that's the last one. Let's see.
You think I would remember that? I just told you I haven't played a video game since 93.
That's true. Yeah. But, I mean, I don't. Let's see. Latest Xbox.
We'll just move on. We don't need live Googling. That's cool. We'll get back to it. But anyway, there's a lot of bowl games, and I like bowl games, and I'll watch, and I'll bet on them all, so hopefully you enjoy it as well. And Billy Lucci is going to be here in about 40 minutes or so, and we'll talk to Billy about A&M against Miami. There's a lot of people picking Miami with an outright upset in that bowl game, and I don't hate that pick. I think all of the questions about about Texas A&M feel legitimate. Now, A&M, look, you have strikes and gutters. Clearly, I missed on a lot before the season. I had LSU and Texas in the SEC championship game. Big whiff. I did have I had South Carolina being the biggest disappointment this year because they were preseason top 10 or just outside of it, and they were awful. And I did say A&M was my team, my sort of like breakout team this year. And I didn't have them 11-1 in the college football playoff, but I did have them as my breakout team this year. And I liked their ability to play defense and run the football. And those two things are very good. However, all the criticisms of A&M or questions, I think are legitimate. That you could draw a line top half, bottom half of the SEC, and A&M's wins all came against the bottom half. And then they lost to Texas. And so I think it's a very fair question to say, okay, you step up in competition, like how does that go? My goodness, South Carolina was up 27 on them in their building in the first half. Now they rallied, which was incredible. But getting down 27 was also concerning, which tells you that's possible. You do that against a better team, you're not necessarily going to have the same result. So I don't know. I think Miami has a great chance to go into Kyle Field and win that football game. So we'll talk about it with Billy Lucci coming up here in about, it's at bottom of next hour, so about 50 minutes from right now. All right, we'll go around the SEC in just a second. We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Check them out online. You can check out the Facebook page as well over at Rouse's. Holidays are near. Having those Christmas or holiday get-togethers, make sure you get by Rouse's. And love this. Right now, you can get $30 off. This is a showstopper alert. $30 off with a coupon of the 100% premium USDA Angus choice beef standing rib roast. $30 off with the coupon right now over at Rouse's. You can find out more on their Facebook page. Go to the website, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. Holidays are here, y'all. Get everything you need for your party or for Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Christmas dinner. They got you at Rouse's. This feels like home. Okay, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Jam Miller's good to go against Oklahoma, according to the availability report. ahead of the game for Friday. Missed the SEC championship game. He's had a lot of injuries. He had the shoulder injury. He was concussed. Starting left guard Cam Dewberry also expected to return. Tight end Josh Cuevas is questionable, and LT Overton is out.
The Oklahoma Sooners.
Good news for Boomer Sooner. R. Mason Thomas was not listed on the availability report ahead of Friday's game against the Crimson Tide, meaning the dominant defensive lineman is expected to return. He missed the final 3 games of the regular season with a quad injury. First team All-SEC this year, 9.5 TFL, 6.5 sacks. That was all in just 9 games, by the way. Their center, Jake Mikula, is questionable.
The Auburn Tigers.
Starting cornerback Jay Crawford will enter the transfer portal. He was freshman All-SEC a year ago. In 2025, he did have 15 tackles, 4 PBUs, and a pick. He picked Auburn initially over LSU and Florida coming out of high school, and now Jay Crawford is hitting the portal.
The South Carolina Gamecocks.
Offensive lineman Trevon Baugh will enter the transfer portal, 6'4", 337. Just wrapped up his 3rd season with the Gamecocks. He's played in 35 games with 19 starts. 11 of those this year at right guard. He's the 5th Gamecock to enter the portal.
The Florida Gators.
And a quick baseball note, Coach Kevin O'Sullivan is returning to the Florida baseball program after his leave of absence. He's been away since the end of October. They didn't go into great detail about why he left, but one paper cited law enforcement records and reported that O'Sullivan had been the subject of verbal abuse allegations made by one of his teenage children. So it's been family things going on there, but nonetheless, Kevin O'Sullivan is back, and the Florida Athletic Department did say via statement that the leave of absence was unrelated to that investigation. So whatever the case may be, O'Sullivan is back on the bench now for the Gators. All right, there you have it. That is around the SEC. We're glad to have you hanging out with us here. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Goodwood, men's sexual wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. As we head into the new year, maybe your New Year's resolution is going to be to finally get in shape, to look and feel your best. Look over at Goodwood. Remember, it's 3 businesses all in one, right? All same ownership, same complex. Goodwood is the men's clinic. They've got Unique Physique, which is the GLP-1s, right? That's semaglutide, tirzepatide, the weight loss shots. Then they got Unique Aesthetics and Wellness. That's the aesthetic clinic where they have $8 a unit Botox. They got all the laser treatments, laser hair removal, hydrofacials, body contouring, everything. And remember, lowest prices, never any contracts. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're right there on Drusilla. Yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 1. We'll come back. Taylor Calandro's here for a little Bourbon Dictionary. And then in about 15 minutes, I do want to talk about Colin Hurley hitting the portal, what it means for the future of LSU's quarterback room. We'll do it. It's coming up. It's AFR.
After further review.
REV, Let's Rev, letsrev.com, letsrev.com, REV, letsrev.com. If you are not thrilled, and when I say thrilled, I mean thrilled, with your internet service provider, it's time to switch. If you get bummed out because your internet goes out, your internet is slow, your internet is buffering, and I mean at your home or at your office building, it's time to switch. Rev is awesome. Speeds up to 5 gigs, faster, more reliable internet. Their Wi-Fi equipment is included at no additional cost, and they offer 100% local service and support. So you're never routed to an overseas call center. Everyone is here. At Guarantee Media, we trust Rev. At Parish Construction and Roofing, we are Rev customers as well. 70,000 customers, homeowners, business owners, they all trust Rev, and you should as well. Let'sRev.com.
After further review, presented by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com. They're the gang with the slang.
Keep it 100. I don't know what you're talking about.
This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
I don't understand.
Yo, dude.
Yo, man, I was supposed to see your wife today. I just remembered that when you called, and I never heard from her.
Oh, no.
Hmm.
Well, there are people who I'm sure are going to assume nefarious things, but that's not the point. Every year, Erica calls Taylor and gets me one very nice bottle of brown water. And I will have to remind her that she needs to do that because that's...
She may have. I wasn't. I left her some stuff there with some instructions, but I never heard from her. So, but it just, I'm sorry, just reminded me when y'all called.
Like, why would you say that live on the air, though?
I don't know.
No, you just ruined it. That's all right. I mean, I knew it was going to happen anyway, but
it's happened every year.
No, I know. Anyway, and I do appreciate it. Taylor, make sure Erica gets something that because she doesn't know what she's looking for, but Taylor does, which is why you should go to Calandro's.
I think you're gonna like this.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. All right. What's new?
We got our Four Roses barrel in, I think, last week. It's $100. It's the OPSO mash bill, which Four Roses has 10 mash bills. It's kind of confusing, but this one is one of my favorite mash bills. It's very balanced. It's a high rye mash bill, but the yeast they use in this specific, the O yeast, is fruity, so it's a good balanced whiskey. It's higher proof, which I always like higher proof Four Roses picks, especially. It's fantastic for $100. If you're looking for a good gift, a unique gift, that's definitely a good, unique gift that a whiskey person is going to love for a Christmas gift for sure.
10 out of 10 recommend. I always say, like, just because whiskey's expensive doesn't mean it's good. Just because it's good doesn't mean it's expensive. And usually, if you're going to see something on a shelf that's $100, it's probably not worth it. That's one that I'd pay $100 for all day long. It's rare to get. Sometimes, if you don't get a store pick like Calandro's, like you'd have to go to the distillery, right, and get one of the recipes, the single barrel recipes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing some little releases of different mash bills and stuff, and they do release a single barrel that's on the shelf year round, but this is different. Yeah, I mean, the barrel picks they're hard to get, and Four Roses is one of those barrels that, like, I don't buy a bunch of whiskey anymore, but like that's one of those barrels if I see in the wild at a random store out of state or something, I'll pick it up every time.
No doubt.
So I've random Four Roses picks in my house just anywhere I see them. So
y'all have
good.
it. Y'all have it available right now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's only we have plenty. I haven't put anything on social media about it either. So we have plenty. And like I said, they're rare. They're not. You don't see them that often. Still. So
save me a bottle so it doesn't all go before I get over there. But I'll come after the show. Sean says, ask Taylor, does the Knob Creek Bourbon and Rye still hold the same price as last year?
Like, just the price, I'm pretty sure it's close, if not the same, yeah.
Joe.
Yeah. I don't think that Knob Creek's gone up a lot at all, if any.
Joe, is Blanton's package with Peerless Single Barrel Rye for $166 a fair price?
Is Blanton's? Wait, what?
It's Blanton's and Peerless Single Barrel Rye, selling them both for $166. Is that a fair price?
He's selling them.
No, someone is selling them to him. He's trying to buy. Is that a fair price to buy?
Yeah. Sorry, I just misunderstood what the yeah.
Come on, dog.
$166.
$166 for 2 bottles.
I'd do that all day.
Okay. Dustin asked Taylor if he's seen the Jim Gaffigan comedy set about bourbon yet.
I have not, but I'm going to go watch it.
Me either.
I love comedy.
I don't even know what that means. I think I've seen some. What does Jim Gaffigan do? I've seen he's a bearded guy, right? Like brown.
He's like pale, bigger guy. He's pretty funny. Yeah. He's not at the top of my list, but he's pretty good.
Jared says, Taylor, Eagle Rare. What are your thoughts?
I love Eagle Rare. And if you can, we still haven't gotten any 12, but they do have a 12-year that's It's supposed to be a semi-regular release that we haven't gotten, but it's probably in other states. So if you see it, pick one up.
Yeah, the Eagle Rare that you'll see from time to time, which is rare, is a 10-year whiskey. So a 12, huh?
God, I'm talking about the 12 being rare. Yeah, the 10-year is rare in itself. I don't even know why I'm talking about the 12-year. The 10-year you can't get either. It's great, but good luck finding it. That's still one of the bottles that you just cannot find.
Yeah, during the last half decade, that's one that just took off in popularity and is next to impossible to find. So if you ever see Eagle Rare, just buy it.
It's still very reasonably priced too.
Yeah.
But you just can't find it. So
Taylor Calandro over at Calandro's Mid-City right there on Government Street. Pop in, say, hey, go pick up that Four Roses barrel pick. You will not be disappointed. It's $100. You will not be disappointed. I haven't tasted, but they're all amazing. Okay, we got to go. Thanks. See you.
All right, Matt. See you.
All right, man. Hour 2 coming up right after Sports Center. We'll talk about Colin Hurley hitting the portal.
After further review.
If you're in the market for a new vehicle, put Volkswagen on your list. You know, I think I've told this story before, but when I started endorsing South Point Volkswagen in 2011, I'd never driven a Volkswagen. And so I said, before I'm going to do this endorsement, I want to drive all these vehicles. So I picked out a day, and I went to the dealership, and I drove every model they had. All of them. And I was blown away. I say it every day, but like the style, feel, performance of luxury. You sit behind the wheel of a Volkswagen, and you get it. Like, it is the great German engineering, high performance, feels like you're in a spaceship, all the great technology in there, but you know you're getting great safety features, and you're getting a great price. And manufactured at their Chattanooga, Tennessee plant, so manufactured in the U.S. of A., so you're supporting Tennessee jobs. South Point Volkswagen is Louisiana's largest Volkswagen dealer, so go test drive one today. South Point Volkswagen.